Alright, looks like we're live, hopefully. Waiting for things to load up on Twitch, making sure we're looking good. Hey, there we are. Awesome. So we'll be getting started in about a minute or so. Why does that say unstable? Hopefully things are going all right. Let's see how long that takes for a delay. That's not too bad. Let's try to figure out to social media this up here. Too busy focusing on getting everything working. Alright, let me just get this posted and then we will get started. Alright, looks like that is out there, so let's get going. Welcome guys. Black 6 from BZPower here. Took a couple of weeks off, I guess, although we did do some test streams last weekend. We've got our new capture card. Hopefully we've got all of our software stuff worked out for the most part. Let me know how things are sounding, how things are looking, if there's any lags or delays or anything. And then we can hopefully work on that if there are. But today we're building at least part of this guy, 75253, the Droid Commander, which is interesting in that it is both a Lego boost set, as you can see here, build code play, and Lego Star Wars. This is kind of harkening back to, what was it, like the early 2000s when they had the Droid developer kit, the Dark Side developer kit. Hey there, Paleo. Well, thanks for the host, Pie. So yeah, this is kind of like the revamp of that project. I guess almost 20 years later, because this came out last year, and that was like, what, 2001-ish that the Droid developer kit came out. You can see there's a free app to download. We'll be checking that out, hopefully, in a little bit. And there are 3 models you can build: R2-D2, the Mouse Droid, and kind of looks like a modified Gonk power droid, except he's got a drill and a saw. He is ready for some gladiator combat. I think it kind of reminds me of, what was it, in Solo, a Star Wars story, where they have the droid fighters, the death matches. Oh yeah, so I guess he is a Gonk droid, the Mouse Droid, and of course R2-D2. So it says quick motor switch. So we'll see how that goes. I guess we can build all 3 models, and yeah, just have to switch the motor and the hub and the sensor into each one. So we'll definitely test out from a programming perspective at least one of them, and hopefully we'll build all 3 today. BattleBots, yes, that was a classic show. I watched a lot of BattleBots as a kid. Oh, whoops, I guess I forgot to remove that. I knew I was forgetting something. Yes, forgot forgot to remove this set from the list of potential future builds. Alright, so I guess this is probably the hub in here. Do have numbered bags, surprisingly. No instructions. Do I have to use the app to build this set? That is going to suck. I mean, these are the instructions. I don't think those are big enough to build any of these sets from. I'm just not expecting to have to use my phone the entire time to build this. Alright, we'll work with it. Looks like we've got 12 bags here, plus some odds and ends. Yep, 12 numbered bags. Then they put the instructions in a bag, the quick start guide, but there's no cardboard or anything, so yeah, these things got mangled beyond most recognition here. Like, thanks so much for putting this in a bag, Lego. That helped so much. Then we've got our motor. I guess this is the boost hub, and then our sensor. So quick start guide. Get the app. You need a screwdriver to open this up. I did not get a screwdriver ready. Hopefully I can dig one of those up. I did get batteries for the hub. And then, okay, so yeah, I guess we are using a lot of legal text. Gonna have to be using the app here. Glad my phone is fully charged. All right, well, that is the first knock against the set. Try to get that straightened out a little bit. Let's see if that helped. All right, so it said gotta start by powering on the hub here, so let's open this up. Come on, tape. The hub out. So here is the boost hub. You can see it does have a built-in motor, so you can see it's got a B motor and an A motor. And it's got two connectors. This is using the powered up connector, although I think boost came out really before powered up was a thing. So that is C and D. It's got a little LED indicator and a single button. It's got studs on the top, anti-studs on the bottom, and then some Technic pinholes on the sides. So some good connection points there. I will be right back with a screwdriver, hopefully. All right, so we've got ourselves a screwdriver. Let's see if hopefully that fits. There we go. And we've got kind of a little cartridge here. It can fit our 6 AA's in. Only if I can get them out of the little plastic wrap. We are not sponsored by Amazon. I just buy way too much stuff from them. All right. Batteries freed from their plastic. And then I realized that I'm misread, and I need triple A's, not double A's. So I'll be right back again. Wow, this is getting off to a great start, guys. Alright, back with the proper batteries now. One apparently already rolled off on me. Tried to prepare. Alright. 6 AAAs later. Load this back up. Screw that back in. Alright, now I guess I'm gonna need my phone. Let's make sure got on do not disturb mode so we don't have any pesky notifications popping up. And so if we're fancy, I'd have a way to actually share the screen, but I don't, so you're just gonna have to watch my phone through the camera. I'm sure there's music playing, but we probably don't want to have that music playing because it's Star Wars and it would be copyrighted. Alright, start there. Yeah, we're just gonna skip that. Hey there, dollar. Yes, I have the set. Oh, I unlocked Watto's shop. Awesome. Uh-huh. Yes, I'm tapping. Watto, why are your hands pink? That looks kind of weird. I'm not sure if you can see that. Build. I want to build R2-D2. Prepare. Uh-huh, yes, I can move this around. That's kind of cool that you can like spin it in 3D and see it that much better. Okay, step 1. Insert batteries. Yes, I did that. Oh, I'm skipping steps already. Alright, guess we're opening up bag 1. Hey, Bellum. Alright. Lovely brick separator. I'm sure I don't have enough of those yet. Alright, step 2. Wondering if like this basic setup on the hub is the same for all three of the builds. Yes, Dollar, the instruction booklet, the quick start guide, is not very thick, and it's mostly full of legal text. So there are no physical instructions. According to Topai, he spotted that there are PDFs that you can download, but no physical instruction book. These tires are interesting. They seem like a potentially new mold to me because they're not hollow. They are pretty solid. I mean, they have like some hollow gaps in here, but normally they're kind of hollow on the inside. So I'm not sure if that's just something I have not experienced in like a city set or anything before, or if it's actually something fairly recent. We're putting these right on the move hub since it has two motors built in. Alright, now we need our sensor here. Not sure what all amazing things the sensor does. I assume light, color, and distance. Maybe motion as well, I guess. It definitely has looks like 3 different sensors there. I guess one is probably a multicolor LED, and then probably has like a photoreceptor and like a one that does like UV or something. The wheels are not symmetrical on the inside and outside. So on the outside they are solid. On the inside they've kind of got like those little hollow gaps. Alright, so the tire is a fairly recent piece. That's good to know that I'm not going crazy. It's nice to reinforce that like I do have some knowledge of different Lego elements. Alright, so it has me like building these different little sub-assemblies and then not really doing anything with them. Alright, build complete for bag 1. I've got the hub with a wheel. It does have a skid plate here so it can stand up, I guess. And then I guess this is, so we got the sensor, and then this is like a dummy sensor as far as the dimensions go, so it can be like symmetric maybe. Or probably maybe just to fill in the gap if you're changing a model. And then you've got these two 1x4 curvy slopes. I'm going to start by opening bag 2, which starts RT. Oh, maybe I'll assume bag 2. Could be another bag. Let's see what happens when it loads. Yeah, it does not look super impressive. All right. Opening up bag 2. Yes, this lovely teal 8x16 tile. So yeah, you can kind of, in any step, you can move it around. Although I guess it's harder to see in the first step. We'll take a look at that a little more when we're a little further along in the build. But it's like normal instructions where it shows you all the pieces you need in the top left there. and then kind of highlights the new pieces you're adding in any given step. So certainly not a bad experience. And I know I've seen some comments online recently with the new instructions that we saw on the A-Wing, where they're on black print as opposed to, you know, a lighter colored print that we usually have, that a lot of people are complaining about the visibility and ease of reading on those instructions going way down. So definitely not having this on your phone, I guess, as long as the brightness on your phone is turned up high enough. This set is definitely weird. I'm looking forward to seeing how this all comes together. It's a unique set for sure. Hey, Box Commander. Each step is putting one more piece on this axle. Oh, Jesus. This is definitely a disadvantage of having these digital instructions versus physical ones. Like, you know, physical ones, you might have several steps on a page, so I can like kind of look ahead and be like, all right, this is kind of the idea of what we're going to be achieving. So I can kind of like get stuff ready, or I know kind of what I'm doing here. Whereas with this, it's just kind of like, you can only see one at a time. So this is kind of going to be an interesting thing where we can use that 3D aspect. Hopefully you can see that decently well. Like from this angle, it's kind of not clear where this part that we just built goes on our previous thing. So we can kind of turn it and see exactly how that lines up on the other parts. So that's definitely something that, you know, there's definitely times when you're building a set and it's not really clear how things line up. So having this kind of 3D aspect is definitely helpful there. So that's a 1 point in the favor of 3D digital instructions. I am curious as far as like the level of effort to make these instructions digital, though. Like how much more work is required to make them digital and interactive. Like presumably they've already got all of the parts, you know, digital CAD files, but there's still got to be like a lot of work to be done to, like, you know, make this app happen. All right, so we've got our first gears that mesh and can turn. Yeah, Topai, I definitely agree. It would have been nice to have the option to use a printed instructions and be like, you know, on the first page of the instructions, be like, hey, you can go download the app and use the app to build this. I guess kind of to your earlier point where you said that, hey, if I don't have a smartphone, that means I can't build this. You know, they're definitely targeting this set at people with smartphones, since you do also need the smartphone, I believe, to program the set as well. So, you know, you kind of need a smartphone or tablet regardless to really make full use of the set. Now, I'm sure there's some people who, although it is kind of expensive, right, it's only 1,100 or so pieces and the set sells for $200. I'm sure there's some people who'd be like, oh, that's a cool R2-D2 model. You know, I would pay $200 for that. You know, but I guess in general they're not. Those aren't the people that they're targeting with this set. That's an interesting question, Dollar. I haven't looked at the PDFs yet, so maybe Topai can chime in there. So it's looking like this is going to be the front of R2-D2. We've got some curved slopes and some little kind of greebling details here. Kind of makes me wonder what that is going to be for. Maybe like for steering, for this little foot at the bottom to steer him. I like how they still show like putting the set at kind of unnatural angles. It's like, I can't really get it to stand that way. Huh, yeah, that is interesting, Topai. Thanks for checking that out. So the PDFs for this set that you can get online are the normal sort of instructions you'd expect to find. And so they've, as Dollar pointed out, they've basically done twice the work on the instructions for this set, making these online, or these interactive 3D versions, and then classic printed versions as well. Even though they just chose not to print them out. Yeah. I am getting to the point where I'm like starting to figure out some of what they want me to do and can do it before the instructions even happen. So in that regard, that's a point against these instructions. We have some color coding going on here. You can see some red and blue. That'll probably help with aligning things later on to make sure that you don't put it backwards or something. Alright, so I guess this is going to probably be the bottom caster wheel for R2-D2 here so he can steer. Alright, yeah, since if that's going to be the front. Although there's no way to power it yet, although we do have that right there. Oh, there we go, and then we're adding the gear. So yeah, now when we turn this droid head, it can turn this gear on the bottom, which presumably is going to have a wheel attached to it. So I think we're going to see how long it takes to build R2 here. And based on that, we'll decide if we're going to build either of the other two droids today, or if we just return to them in the future. And if we do that, I'll probably be downloading the PDFs. And then I'll have my tablet, so I have a bigger screen to work off of here to build them up. So you can see you've got a bunch of blue going on in this part, which kind of complements the red color scheme we've got on this side. So you can see we're just, I guess in this case, so this might be R2's side, and this is going to be the front. Well, I guess remains to be seen. I probably look at the picture on the box to figure it out, but so we're doing either the R2's back or his right side, I guess. So how's everyone been since we haven't really done a real stream in a couple of weeks? Anything exciting going on? I know we've got the Bio Cup in full swing. I believe round 2 just ended, so hopefully we can get the results for that soon and see who made it on to the next phase in the competition. We had the LEGO Ideas results get announced. So we've got, was it 3 new sets coming out? The Piano, Seinfeld, and Home Alone. None of those like immediately jump out at me and be like must buy, but that's just kind of my personal tastes. It is interesting, I think, how many different sitcoms are getting LEGO sets. I guess there's enough fans of all of those shows to justify making LEGO sets for them. So far, they've yet to really release any sitcom-based sets of sitcoms I've actually watched, so I haven't really been crazy about any of them. But hey, to each their own. Let me know when we get office or community. Both of which I think have had projects get into the review phase, and either they haven't been reviewed yet, or we haven't, or they have not passed, which is unfortunate. I don't know, Dollar, the way you said that. Ah, yes, LEGO Ideas. I feel like you have some comments on LEGO Ideas. Trying to think what else has happened in the LEGO world since our last stream. We did have, I guess we haven't really streamed since we had a few new sets get announced. The Mickey and Minnie and the Crocodile Locomotive. Have there been any others? I think there probably were. Oh yeah, we had the reveal of the summer Star Wars sets. But I think a portion of that had already leaked out, if you were really looking forward to them. Alright, I think we are done with bag 2. So, bag 2 here. That's probably the bottom. I'm feeling like this is just going to be the front here, and so this is going to be the left side, and that's going to be the right. You can see we do have some gears in here that turn this big gear on the bottom, which is likely going to be for his wheel. You can see we're using a bunch of curve slopes to give him that rounded shape, and you can kind of get an idea of the size, right? This is going to be his main body, so the head's going to be like that. So he's not going to be super big, but you know, pretty good size to play around with. All right, bag 3. looks like we'll be finishing up by bag 6. So I would say after this bag, we'll probably do our first giveaway. There's quite a bit of asymmetry on here too. I haven't really talked about that. So on the blue side here, you can see there's a gap in here. We just put this kind of bar piece on. On this side, it's much more solid. So it's kind of interesting to see. I'm seeing some interesting printed parts that we'll be getting to in a little bit. Look forward to showing those off. Oh, and a flag piece. Kind of interesting inclusion there. That might be because of the size, that it like does a better job of partially covering a gap that we're gonna have, that something's gonna be sticking out of. Oh wow, put 4 whole pieces on in a single step. Now, one thing that can make these digital instructions super useful, which I haven't seen, oh no, there's these little dots here. What do the dots do? Turn off full screen, I guess turn off animation. Oh, there's sound, yeah, I can turn off the sound too. Like, the one thing that would be really cool in digital instructions like this would be if they had like a part finder. So like you finish a bag and you have an extra part that you're not supposed to have, and if you could like do a quick search, like go to the inventory and then select a part, and it would show you all the steps where that part is used, that would be super handy. Or also be like really useful if you know you have this built and you have it on display, and then like someone knocks into it or knocks it over, and you're trying to repair it, and you're like, all right, this part came off, now where does it go, kind of thing. Okay, I got this whole assembly here going on what appears to be the back. Could line it up like so. All right, so just added this whole assembly here. It does have an axle here, red on that side and yellow on the other. It's got a little coupler in between. Not sure why it was a coupler and not just like a, what would that be, like a 7 module axle. Whatever, it is what it is. So far, it's not doing much, but I'm assuming there's gonna be a gear going to connect this. how is the streaming quality looking for everyone? Because I did bump up my camera to 1080p finally. We've been streaming at 720p for the longest time, and since we had no real issues in our test streams with that, I decided to bump it up to 1080. So hopefully there's some better quality nowadays, or now. And everything's looking fine on my end. I just want to but it is saying on Twitch itself that the stream is unstable. I'm kind of curious by that. I want to make sure everything's looking good. Computer is struggling with it. Good to know. Maybe it's not your computer. Maybe it is something on my end. Yeah, that's probably a good suggestion there. Who's that? Box Commander. Yeah. So obviously with these two pins, this is probably where the motor is going to attach. So that way, when you disconnect, the motor doesn't pull out this axle. Could have probably accomplished the same thing with like a bushing or something in between, but many ways to skin a cat, so they say. And so now, in addition to being able to spin this guy to turn the wheel, once the motor comes on, the motor will be able to turn the wheel in the middle. It's probably more like the motor turns the wheel and is going to spin something on the front of R2-D2. Definitely your computer. All right. Well, if anyone does see any sort of lagging, buffering, etc., please let me know, so you can make sure that we can maybe tweak our settings a little bit in the future, so everyone has a good experience. All right, so got this lovely, what is this, 4x12 dark blue, earth blue, metro blue plate. I guess it's probably gonna be the front of R2-D2. So you got some nice little greebles on here with the steering wheel, 2 round jumpers, a little bit of asymmetry. You can also see the asymmetry on the sides here as well. And so we have one of our printed parts. I think this is actually a pretty old printed design. It's definitely one that's been around in the past. Maybe it's gone out of circulation at some point and is now back. But it's just a 2x2 white slope with these vertical black lines on it. I feel like I definitely remember seeing that on like city cars and stuff from like the 80s and 90s. Oh, wow, still got a Core 2 Duo. Yeah, I guess that would be impressive that it's able to support 1080 stream. All right, so we've got some more printed parts. Definitely R2-D2 style here. So those are his little manipulator arms that kind of fold out in the films and stuff. Obviously, they're not going to do that here. I guess a little bit of a bummer. And that makes me realize what I thought was a gear for his wheel at the bottom this whole time is actually going to be for his head, based on where these are going, because the arms are near the top. So this is the proper orientation, and he's going to have his dome up here. And so yeah, we have to see. So obviously the hub is going to go like in here somehow. We'll see how that goes eventually. Maybe it goes backwards. But let's see, probably something like that. So that is, now it's looking a lot more R2-D2-ish. Just those few printed parts, all it took. I think there might be some changes you need to make to the hub. This definitely looks like it is an R2-D2 mode with 2 wheels on the bottom and then this guy, so it can kind of go roll along. Whereas like the Gonk droid, I think actually is supposed to like be able to walk, and so I'm not sure about the Mouse droid though. So we'll have to see. We'll have to see how quick swappable it is. But it definitely seems like you can build all 3 droids and then kind of swap in between them. And maybe that's what like these kind of loose pieces are for, is that like you can put these on for like the Mouse Droid configuration or something like that. Let me get to add our sensor in here. So we've got a thread. So that's what the flag is for here. It's a little flap, so you can put the powered up cable through there. And then this goes like so. Get the cable the rest of the way through. And then you fold the flap back up so it kind of hides the cable. And then he has the sensor on the front. And so I'm guessing that if you swap out the hub, then you put just this brick, these couple of bricks in to replace it. All right, now you got to put the hub in. Need to open up our motor finally. Yeah. I'm not sure how well you guys can see because they're all the way back here, but like I said, bags 4, 5, and 6 are definitely R2-D2 colors. 7, 8, and 9, there's a lot more teal in them, so that's probably the Gonk droid, and then 10, 11, 12, I'm guessing is then going to be the Mouse droid. So they definitely can build all of the shells at least, which is kind of cool because it means if you're not playing with them, you can still have these 3 droids on display. All right, so we've got our hub, we've attached our sensor and our motor, and we're kind of in our shell here. And so yeah, gotta slide this in here. Now there is on the inside this Technic pin axle, which I think is kind of acting as a little bit of a rail, maybe. Yeah, so it's kind of like the bottom rail here. And I do appear to be catching a little bit on the sensor. So I gotta kind of pull the cable for the sensor out of the way. I'm trying to do this while also showing it off on camera. There we go. Maybe. Alright, I think I'm supposed to be a little more in there. I'm not sure how this cable is supposed to really make it through here. It's definitely a tight fit. You have to kind of fold this cable here to fit in the little gap they give you so you can get that like last extra stud. Cable placement help. I think I got it. Let's see. And then this motor, as we suspected, plugs in on the back here. Maybe. There we go. All right. And there is some gaps in here that we can feed the cables into to kind of get them out of the way. So I'm going to try to clean that up a little bit. There we go, there's that one. And it's interesting that as of right now, this is not actually attached to anything. It is pretty much just frictioned in, and then having the cables now fed into it is adding like that much more friction, so it's not coming out. And I think we're gonna actually attach it with these axles here. Let's see if I got everything lined up and these axles actually go in. Yeah, all right. I don't know how you're gonna get them back out easily. Although they do add the little half bushing on here, so I guess if you get your fingers in there, you can pull them out. It's not too bad. All right, so we just finished bag 3. I'm gonna take a quick break. We'll put up our giveaway link. Bam. And when we come back, we'll do our first giveaway. So be right back. back. Let's see how many entries we've got. Alright, we'll give it another minute. I'll go ahead and open up bag 4, and then we'll pick our winner. Have any of us guys looked at the Helrix contest yet? I haven't looked at every single entry, but I've definitely seen a few, and there have been some really cool looking things with like some custom masks or custom painted stuff to kind of really capture that character, and I think it's been pretty interesting so far. Alright, got our instructions back up. Let's see who our first winner will be today. Lord Oblivion, congrats! You've won an Elite TIE Fighter Pilot buildable figure. I'll be getting in touch with you, getting you that prize. We've got a few more sets to give away. Hub placement help. We'll take a look at that. I think I got it in the right position. Yep, okay, we're good. Alright, so now I think we're working on R2-D2's dome based on the parts here. Like we've got these big curved corners. So one of the things, now that we've got our new capture card, we're using Streamlabs OBS now instead of the Elgato software that came with our old capture card. You know, it kind of integrates a bunch of Streamlabs' features, you know, into the platform. Makes it a lot easier to do stuff like having the chat on the stream. You notice when we put up the giveaway image there, it did not reset the chat like it used to. So some cool stuff like that. I have looked, and I saw that Streamlabs has some sort of giveaway little plugin. So I'm considering looking into that and seeing if we can incorporate that into the stream somehow. I haven't given a lot of time to it. That might be like another test stream at some point in the future. Since things are looking pretty good as far as like quality and no lag and buffering goes, we may kind of experiment with some more things to add on to our streams moving forward. I think I've mentioned in the past I'd love to do like a kind of picture-in-picture to kind of give a closer view of some of the sets or some of the builds as we're working on them. Instead of just kind of like this wide-angle view, you could have like a kind of close-up specifically on like this part where I'm actively building, so you can really see those parts coming together a lot better. So hopefully we can play around with some of that kind of stuff in the future. What do I like about Streamlabs OBS versus regular OBS? I haven't really used regular OBS, right? We were kind of locked in with the Elgato software previously with our old capture card. And the reason I went with Streamlabs versus normal OBS was because we were already using like their chat plugin and some other stuff. So it just kind of made sense for me to use their stuff to kind of have some of that more native support for the plugins we were already using. So that's pretty much, you know, the main reason we went with them. And like I said, I knew there were some other features and stuff that they had on their platform that we could potentially make use of. But it was just easier to integrate rather than having to, you know, mess around with OBS and Streamlabs to get everything kind of happy and working together. Alright, so you can see R2-D2's dome coming together a little bit. That's probably his main red photoreceptor eye there. You can see we've got some different colors, the dark blue and the gray. A little bit of greebling on the back here with that 1x1 round plate with the bar coming off of it. And of course it's all on this 4x4 round brick that has the Technic axle hole in the middle that we'll be able to attach onto here. Yeah, I think they've improved it with newer capture cards, but with the capture card we had from Elgato, your options were literally to use their software to stream, or have their software running and then also open up OBS and have OBS stream your screen, and the screen being, you know, the capture card software. So that really did not gain us anything to do that. I did look into it at one point, and it just, you know, it was just going to add overhead, and I mean, at the time we weren't really having many issues with the stream, but you know, then once I made the mistake of upgrading my OS, and that caused all those other issues we were having, then that was like certainly right out. I was using an Elgato HD60. So I think starting with the 60S, that was where you could start using other software like kind of out of the box. And now I've got an Evermedia Live Gamer Portable 2 Plus is what I ended up going with. And so far it has worked like a charm. Didn't need to install any special software for it, just kind of plug and play. Streamlabs OBS recognized it instantly, so no complaints. All right, so we've got some interesting little stuff going on with R2-D2's dome. We've got a Mixel socket. We've got 3 hinge bases on here. I've got some more greebling going on. You've got this plate with a bar as well. I'm curious to see, you know, presumably we're going to attach something to give him a kind of curved look on his dome, so I'm interested to see how that all comes together. Yeah, we're starting to have all the issues. I did look into getting another Elgato capture card, but with all the things going on with COVID, right, impacting like manufacturing, and then also causing a lot of people to be buying lots of computer hardware, I literally could not find anywhere that had an Elgato card for sale. You know, other than like secondary market, super expensive kind of stuff. So did not want to go that route. All right, so for some of R2-D2's curves on his dome, we've got these 1x4 curve plates that we put on these hinge plates, and I think it does a really good job of capturing that curve. Interesting. So on the back, I mentioned that Mixel socket. We put one of those bars with the Mixel ball on it, and that's just kind of sticking out of the back of his head. I don't recall him having like an antenna or anything there, so we'll see what that does. All right, really starting to get that dome look going on. Good old chrome dome. He even rolls a little bit. He's starting to look pretty R2-D2-ish. I'm not sure if I've talked about some of the issues I had even just getting this capture card on the stream yet. Because I initially had ordered it from Dell, who said they had it in stock, and then they proceeded to delay my order twice. And after the second time, I started looking around a bit and found that at that point Best Buy had it in stock, and then I ordered from them and got it in the mail 2 days later. So thanks to Best Buy. Alright, so to get R2's main photoreceptor, so you've got a boat stud here on a couple of different plates, which is attached to a slope with some clips on it. And that clips in there, and that definitely makes it look like R2-D2. I love how they managed to get that slope incorporated. All right, and then I guess our last piece, finishing the look, is a 6x6 dish, dark blue with some printing on it. I feel like this piece could be used quite a bit in other builds as well, kind of a versatile print, but obviously it works great for R2 here. If we can pop it on. There we go. And that is an R2-D2 head. All right, I think we're starting to look like the droid we're looking for here. And of course, it's gonna be able to spin all the way around. Very nice. And that is it for bag 4. Alright, so I'm seeing a lot of red and blue on here. So I'm feeling like one is going to be the red leg, one's going to be the blue leg. I'm going to try to be a little tricksy and do both at the same time. And unfortunately, I can't look forward in the instructions like that easily to see if that's an okay thing to do. You can slide forward a little bit, but we're just going to take a chance here. And I like how, because of how the move hub is situated, he kind of like has this predilection of leaning forward, so it kind of looks like R2-D2 is watching me build his legs here. All right, let's pop on here. Oh, hey, look, the steps I already did. I've definitely come to appreciate the color coding that the designers do on some of these. I guess this one isn't like a huge set, but some of the bigger, more complex sets definitely makes, my life as a builder easier. reduces the potential for mistakes and stuff like that. Although at least at the beginning here, when everything is pretty much symmetric, it's not a big deal, but I assume it will be by the time we get a little further along. Like here we're starting to lose our symmetry, and we're becoming just more mirrored. Yeah, see, that's probably your answer right there. $1. Here's a little bit ahead of the game. But yeah, I'm pretty sure the legs are going to be slightly different because they're going to have a kind of front and a back. Well, that is going to make it interesting. Once I get done building the blue leg, which I guess is his left leg, then I'm going to get to the part in the instructions where it's like, build the red leg. Like, now I'm going to tap, 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 get all the way through that, through stuff I've already done. So I'm just flipping a couple pages. Well, that would be an interesting concept, right, with like these digital interactive instructions. If you could turn on like expert mode. It's like, yes, I've built a lot of Lego sets in my day. I can do things like mirror symmetry and build multiple parts at once. I am noticing as I'm building the legs, there's nowhere for the jet thrusters to pop out of. It's a little disappointing there. I was expecting my Lego Boost R2-D2 to be able to fly around. It's looking like that's not going to happen. Glad you're on the same page, Toe Pie. Like, seriously, Lego, get your act together. Kids want flying R2-D2s. Alright, so thanks to these snot brackets we've got on either side, we're using these curved bricks here to give him that nice rounded shape on the top of his legs. So definitely a lot of studs going in different directions here. We've got them going out to the sides and out the front as well. And so eventually that's going to pop on there. And you can see these are kind of joined. So his legs will be able to kind of move backwards as he rolls along. So far, as far as front and back go, the legs have been fairly symmetric, except one side has just a normal kind of like 2x2 snot bracket, and this one's got a 2x4 snot bracket, which I'm guessing is going to be so the wheels can only kind of tilt back so far. Alright, just about done with bag 5. So one more bag and our quirky little astromech will be completed. Then we get to make him move and stuff. Oh, that's right. I still have to tap through all the instructions to build this other leg that I already built. So yeah, so the legs, while they're attached to some Technic connections, there's no gears or anything driving them. So it's kind of like when he starts moving forward, he's going to naturally try to fall back, and then the legs will kind of fall back into place. And I believe there's a gyroscope in the base on the boost, so it can kind of tell what angle it's at as well. That's kind of a cool design. All right, tap, 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 tap. I guess I can scroll through. So you can just kind of like click and drag. Oh, I went a little too far. There we go. All right, bag 6. All right, no little bag in this one. I guess these are going to be just the wheelbases. I think is pretty much the only thing left, so I'm going to assume we can do both of those at once. I do see some interesting pieces in here for what I'm assuming are going to be for his wheels that I have not seen before. So I'll be showing those off once we get there. Yes, we're using these connectors, which might be the first time they've appeared in dark blue, and those are going to connect on here for his legs or feet. I mean, in terms of like Lego and floating, I don't think we've ever had like a remote control Lego boat as an official set. So if you're looking for that to be like the next frontier, we have had like Lego things that fly, right? Like Ninjago had some like spinning top things. Technically we had some stuff in Bionicle with some spinners. City had, I think, like some helicopters that were kind of the same concept as Ninjago. And they had some parachutes as well, so have kind of had some Lego stuff that flies, just not with any motor power. almost like an hour and a half in. We're just about done with R2. So I'm thinking after we finish building him and playing around with his programming a little, probably not going to do any actual real programming, but I think they have some kind of like default programs that you can use to have him kind of move around and stuff. So we'll definitely play with those. And I think we'll try to build at least one of the other droids, even if we don't go through like the app stuff with them, even if we just build their shell. Keep building these feet here as if they're mirrored, and then like I get to the next step and I'm like, oh no, this is just symmetric, we're just taking our time about it. A Lego rubber band powered glider, that would be kind of interesting. Alright, so here are, I believe this was like a new piece for this set, or maybe for the first boost set, but it's like kind of like a ball bearing kind of caster thing. I guess not ball bearing, but it's a little caster. You can see it's got a round hole in there, not an axle hole, so it can roll freely. Although we are putting a gear into it, so it's kind of interesting. And you can see there are like those 4 little ridges in there. Hopefully you can kind of see those. Those do catch in the teeth of the 8-foot gear a little. So I guess you can make it roll freely, or you can have it actually gear driven. In this case, I don't think we're actually going to be having it driven. We're just going to be using it to roll freely. So I'm not sure exactly why we needed to put a gear in there, but at least adds a little bit of a spacer to it. Oh, they are a little finicky though. Popped right out of there. All right, yeah, so that pops in there, and it does roll very smoothly here. Not a lot of friction on that. Alright, let's do it all over again a couple more times. Alright, so far these feet for R2 still identical. Oh, sorry to see that you got to tap out a little early there, Dollar. Appreciate you tuning in though, chatting with us. Alright, adding some tiles on here, give it a little bit of detailing. Definitely don't think the proportions here are going to be completely accurate to R2-D2, but you know, it definitely gets the idea across. And the fact that it's going to be like motorized makes it that much cooler. this in. And yeah, you can see that snot bracket here keeps the leg, or keeps the foot from kind of going past vertical here. So when he goes backwards, it can go that way, but it can't go back the other way. Pop that on there. And even though the feet were completely identical, it has us go through and build the second foot anyway in the instructions. Scroll through there. All right, build complete. Go team. All right, so I think it's about time to do another giveaway. So let's put that up there, and we'll see what we've got next in our app. And having your phone running non-stop for 90 minutes, it is getting quite warm. I'm noticing. Hey, I finished building R2-D2. All right, now see what he can do. Complete the coding tutorial to learn R2-D2's basic functions. It's also not nice on my battery life here. All right, how do I give it permissions for that? Give permissions for that. Droid not connected. All right. So before we connect the droid, we'll do our next giveaway. I like how he's kind of looking at the camera there. He's like, I got my eye on you. So let's see who our next winner will be. Box Commander, congratulations. You've won a Baze Malbus buildable figure. You know the drill. We'll be getting in touch with you to get you that prize. All right. Let's hit the power button, turn that on. Oh, you can see the light on the front here. App says it is connecting. Oh, great. I have to update the firmware. An error occurred during the firmware update. That's fantastic. Droid not connected. Oh, connect. Okay. Now you get to see all the technical difficulties we get here. Keeps updating the firmware and gives me no option to bypass updating the firmware. It just keeps. I'm just in like an endless loop here. Update, error. All right, let's try closing the app and restarting it. Trying to stock up on as many of those friction extenders as possible. You mean the CCBS like socket friction extenders? I've got like so many of those. Yes, I have the set. Go back into here. I guess I already built this. I don't need to be in there. Not sure what my other options are here. What's in the Falcon? Mission log, achievements, settings. All right, let's go back to the building. Instructions. All right, so okay, so actually it kept track here. So it knows that I did the preparation and it knows it did the build. So display mode, add, remove, build. So all sorts of little different things on here. So I guess you can actually, oh, you can build the jetpack little thingies for them. Not sure where you're supposed to get the parts for that. I guess you do have to take apart some of the things to add some of the different add-ons here. Alright, so those are just the instructions, but where do I do like the playing thing? Let's try to go back to where we were before and just like skip through all the instructions. A 100 of those extenders, wow. I probably have at least that many, but that is a lot for just a single project. Okay, so yeah, I went back into the instructions where we started, and now I can learn his basic functions, so we'll see if that works this time. Droid not connected. Push the button. It says connecting. Update firmware. Oh, it didn't get an error this time, so that's a good sign. The light on the hub you can probably see is flashing through a bunch of different colors. Droid, there we go. Calibrating droid. So it says place the droid on the floor before you begin calibration, but obviously that wouldn't be very fun for you guys. So we're gonna kind of get these bags out of the way here, and hopefully this is enough space to calibrate our droid. R2-D2's waking up. Oh! I'm not doing anything. He's just kind of doing this on his own here. So I'm kind of building a little program here just for calibration purposes. Oh, he is not happy there. That's pretty awesome. Okay, is that it? Yes. Just kind of walking me through the tutorial here on how to use their little block programming methods. Undo feature 1. Let's move forward. So that should get him to move forward. Cool. So that's the distance sensor. All right, let's, can we stop this? Face him here. So we're gonna be using the distance sensor now. Not sure what he's supposed to do. I have to have that sound turned on. Stop. Try again. Oh, hopefully, let's see if you guys heard that. So yeah, when my hand gets close enough, he makes noises, but the noises come out of the phone, not the boost hub, which is a little disappointing there. Should probably be reading what they're saying here. A soft head shake. So there are different behaviors that are already programmed in. So I guess when he hears something, he's going to do a soft head shake. Oh, and a clap. All right, let's try. That's kind of cool. All right, I guess that's the tutorial. So let's see what other sorts of behaviors we've got. So we've got distance. It's all very visual. It would be very nice, I think, if they had some kind of like different text explaining what these things do. All right, so we've got the head shake. We've got, I guess, a stand up, and then move forward, turn right, turn back, and then there's different things. All right, so let's see what happens when we do this. So there's some of his behaviors there. You can have him go into the stand up position and then go into the leaning back position. Let's see what else we've got here. All right, so we're just doing the default times here, so we'll see how well that works. Oh, then he tried to fall off. All right, let's put a little backwards movement in there first. Is it running? So there we go. That's pretty cool. You know, there's all sorts of different actions that are built in, kind of made for R2-D2 here. So there's start, there's wait, there's measured distance that you can either do at the beginning, so that can be the beginning of the program, or somewhere in your program. You can do the clapping that I was doing, the different little I guess behaviors, so standing up, leaning back, shaking his head, and then moving forward, backward, left, right, making noises, and I guess that's just kind of like the calibration demo program there. So yeah, pretty kind of basic, easy to use, and then you know they kind of all have a default amount of time, so you can have it move forward for different amounts of time. Can change, I guess, the volume, like how loud the clap needs to be there, different things like that. Some of them don't have any options. You can see if they have like the little notch in the bottom there, and then they have options. Otherwise, it's just kind of like a default thing. So yeah, that is, looks like that's about it as far as the basic stuff goes. I'm sure there's more stuff here in the app. Let's see what else we've got. Oh, gotta get rid of that copyright infringement audio. Mission complete. Yeah, I've unlocked R2-D2, okay. I've unlocked 1 out of 4 spare parts, build all the droids to fix the starship and travel to the next planet. So they've really kind of gamified this with like achievements, and I've unlocked my first coding block, continue the adventure to learn how to use it. So they're really doing a lot here to encourage kids to play, like go through the different missions and stuff like that. So that's kind of cool. Let's see what happens when we go into here. Nope. Okay, so I guess this is a remote control now. So in addition to programming, you can just do remote control maybe? Spin around in circles. Go forward, backward. And then there's these color buttons. I'm not sure what these do. They might change the color on the LED. Or maybe I can program them to do different things. Oh wow, yeah, there's a lot on here. So you can program what each different button does here. So right now it looks like I've only got one block to make some sounds. Oh, it's just walking me through the tutorial here. All right. So now when I hit green, something's supposed to happen. Got my volume turned up. It is set to green. Now I can play around with different sounds a little bit. All right, now I can say when I hit red, it does that. Orange does that, so we'll see how that does. There we go. So now orange is going to switch him back and forth between these two positions. Red should turn his head. And green. Green's supposed to make a noise, but it is not very successful in that. Doesn't seem to want to be turning right now. Oh, there we go. I guess you just can't turn on the spot. You have to be moving in a direction and turning. So it turns because on the hub there are two motors built in, so it turns the wheels in opposite directions. So if you watch, he kind of pivots on his center leg there. There we go, yeah, spin around in a circle there. Yep, so yeah, there's actually 3 motors and one sensor there. So I guess we're talking about the turning in the spot. It can only do that if it is in this position. If it's standing up like that, then it can turn on the spot. But if it is, let's make sure he has enough space here. If he's like that, then he can't really turn on the spot that easily, because of where, I guess, the pivot center of gravity is at that point. Like, I'm trying to, I have it just on turn, but you can see he's kind of gradually, like, if I give it a little bit of bias in one direction, then it does it. All right, so yeah, that is R2-D2. That was a lot of fun. There's definitely a lot more in this app that we can play with. I haven't actually paid attention. There is this little guy that turns. What button did that? Was that one? No, that was red. So I'm not sure how well it shows up. Can maybe get a little closer. If you watch the little white droid head there, when I make his head spin, that spins as well. So I guess that is kind of for some of the alternate little attachments you can make for him. So you can pop off that little droid head somehow. Oh. Lots of that music. But you can pop that off and then put on different attachments so he can actually have some of his whole different tools and stuff that you're so used to seeing R2 use in the movies to do some of the other different things. Alright, so I've unlocked the cantina. We'll take a quick look at that. Oh, hey Luke. So I guess these are some different missions you can have. So mapping Beggar's Canyon. So there's no, there we go, back. So I'm not going to go into all those in depth. Yeah, I'm not going to rate you right now, no thanks. We're, I think, going to build us a gonk droid. So we'll see how that goes. That might be maybe we'll play around with the gonk droid for a little bit. I don't think you can turn it off, you just kind of have to wait for the hub to turn off on its own, so we're going to go ahead and do that. I have to remove the motor hub from the previous droid, so it's going to walk me through how to do that, I guess. So preparation. Oh, no, it's not going to tell me how to do it. I feel like it should, right? Can I go back? Oh, there we go. All right, that's how it'll tell me. I have to pop the legs off. And then I assume pop these guys out. Yeah. All right. Disconnect that. It's a little tricky getting this flap back open. I guess I can just probably pop the sensor out. There we go. And I'm going to have to disconnect you, right? So I'm curious to what I do now with R2-D2 that he has no no hub in him. So yeah, it does have, we built this guy before that we can use to kind of replace that sensor, so at least his body isn't looking too empty. And I guess I can probably put the, oh, what do I have us do here? Oh, interesting, so for display mode, you pop off this little guy here and rotate it 90 degrees. And then let's see what else. Oh, sorry, I had the wrong spot. There we go. So yeah, you rotate it so it's lined up with this thing so that his legs can't move anymore. Now where do these axles go? So yeah, you kind of keep his legs from moving here. Put those back on. All right, and so yeah, I guess that's the answer. Is that, you know, his in the cannon, right? His middle leg retracts. So at this point, you can just kind of stay there. He does look a little empty from the bottom and from the back. So he's literally just like a shell, like we were talking about before. But yeah, that is it. All right, so let's do the preparation here to make us a gonk droid. See you later, Box Commander. I guess we want to disconnect that. Alright, so this shows us not having the wheels on, but this is otherwise remaining the same. Oh, there's the wheels. And these guys. And these guys. Oh, apparently that's all they wanted me to do. Alright. Kind of anticlimactic there. Let's build the gonk droid. Alright, Bag 7. The end of our live stream today might be when my battery on my phone runs out of power. I was not expecting, I was expecting to have to use it for the app, but I wasn't expecting to use it for the building instructions. So while it was fully charged at the beginning, I'm under half power right now. So I guess the interesting thing with the Gonk Droid is that it's supposed to actually be walking, right? So that should be an interesting build to do. Oh, we got some nice teal bricks. 1x3s in teal. Alright, so it looks like this is going to be our motor attachment point. And so that's gonna, when this turns, it's going to turn these two gears on the sides here. I guess one nice thing about these digital instructions is that it tells you exactly how many steps. There's 250 steps here for the Gonk Droid, whereas there is like over 360 for R2. So it should be a shorter build. And it's only 3 bags versus 6, so that alone should tell you that it's going to be faster. I guess one nice thing about this set, no stickers, right? I mean, got through all of R2-D2 with only some printed elements on here. So not only do we have a fun build so far, some cool functions to it, but sticker free. looking forward to seeing the walking mechanism. Those are always very, very interesting to see and play around with. I know I have the motorized walking AT-AT from a while ago. That was definitely a cool set to build. And back in the day, with like the original Mindstorms, I had built some walking robots as well. Very fun. Definitely a lot of Technic construction for this guy, which makes sense. So I'm gonna need to have a strong build in order to be sturdy enough to walk around. I'm feeling like all this stuff I'm doing I'm gonna have to do again, but slightly mirrored. But not being as familiar with the anatomy of a gonk droid as I am with R2-D2, it's a little harder to tell. So I'm guessing these two beams are going to somehow attach to this gear to allow it to walk, or at least one of the beams will attach. Alright, let's do all that over again. Slightly different this time. All right, see you later, Dollar. Thanks for joining us. other side in here. All right. Assuming whatever it is we're doing now, we're doing twice. So it looks like these are going to be kind of the start of the feet. Yeah, all this over again. Did I? Oh, I built this right and then I attached it upside down. Brick separator to the rescue. This little axle sticking off the top of the brick separator is definitely the best part about the new brick separator design versus the one I had as a kid. Alright, let's do this the right way this time. Alright, so this is the piece that looks like we're going to be using to make sure that these guys can walk. So we're putting that on the gear at one of the pinholes on here. You have to make sure that these are kind of against each other, so let's do the other side that we can kind of really see how it is going to work. If I don't drop the piece, where'd you go? It is rolling around in here. Alright, so you can see that our two legs are not lined up with each other. So, where can I spin? So like as I spin, the little red ball joint guy is going, where's the best? Yeah, there's not really a good way to spin this right now, unfortunately. That ball joint is going to kind of push one leg back while the other leg goes forward and vice versa. So, simple little technique. I thought there was going to be some sort of mechanical linkage between these beams and the gear, but this works just as well. Alright, on to bag 8. We got some nice big teal plates in this one. very blocky build to start with. Are adding, we've got a mixel ball joint, a couple of bricks with bars, and these modified plates. Wondering if the plates are going to be used as kind of spacers to get the siding of the gonk droid on, to give it like that kind of unique angle that it needs to be at. Some snot brackets now too. Oh, so we're using the mixel joint with one of these bars on here. To what end remains to be seen. Oh, so all right, all of this is not for the siding. This is one of the feet. So let's make sure we've got this oriented properly. And goes like that. Need to find an axle on here somewhere. And this is definitely a case where this interactive display works out very nicely, because you can also see that in addition to that, to attaching with this axle, this bar here is going on our gear. So that will kind of make the feet, let's see if we can spin, make the foot turn a little bit as it goes. Maybe I can get that to show. Which I guess it will allow it to kind of change the center of gravity and how the weight is focused, so it can kind of keep its balance. So that's a really awesome technique there. That is not one I probably would have thought up. All right, now I get to do that again for the other foot, I guess. So, it's going to be a lot of the same. Slightly different here and there to be mirrored. But like, since I wasn't really sure what I was building the first time around, it kind of made it harder. And I guess I could have looked forwards in the instructions a little bit, which I might have done if they were printed out, but since they were not printed, I didn't bother. thing we were talking about there, Paleo, is that normally when you have like usually in Lego sets and other kind of creative toys that walk, their feet are shaped like this, so as they walk, there's little projections in here that kind of keep that weight centered in the middle, whereas they're not doing that here. They're actually making the feet turn a little bit to keep that weight centered. So yeah, it's definitely a much more elegant solution. First for the tile. All right, now get you attach the second foot. It is a little tight to get this bushing on here. All right, so there you can see both feet on now. Let's see if I can make this spin. So you can see how those are kind of wobbling from side to side as it walks. And that's going to help. I guess it's more to help make it go from side to side as it walks. All right, oop. Now some of this lovely teal. Got a lot more of it in the last bag here. All right, there we go. Starting to look a little bit more like a gonk droid. Starting to get that general gonky shape now with the legs. Although in the films, they were not teal. But hey, if Lego wants to give us a whole bunch of teal parts, teal gonk droid, I'm not complaining. Here's a little interesting adding bricks onto this whole structure when it's on these two legs that are by design a little bit wobbly. Alright, that's it for bag 8. So on to our last bag for the Gonk Droid. And after this we'll do our next giveaway, and then we'll power it on and play around with it a little bit. And then that'll probably be about it, because I'm not sure that my phone can take much more. So either we'll do another stream at some other point to do the Mouse Droid and then play around with the challenges and stuff a little more. Maybe we'll come back to it some other time in the future. Like not right away, but in like a month or two or something. Yes, the battery on my phone is getting low. Like, had I known in advance that I was going to be using it the entire time, I would have set up a charger that I could have it plugged into, but I did not realize that there were no actual instructions. It was all digital. Like I've got some black and yellow details here, kind of looks like a hazard stripe or something. This is interesting. We've got these 2x4 plates with little wheel Technic pin axles on them. Curious to see how exactly we're making use of those. If this is something to get some of the angles and stuff going on with. It's also interesting. Right on the box for the set, they show the Gonk Droid with like a saw coming out of the side, and I do not see any saws in this last bag. So either we do have to open up bag 10, or I guess that's just kind of like one of the little add-ons that you can do as you unlock different missions, and those parts are going to be in one of the other bags. So maybe it will be worth doing some more streams in this. It definitely seems like there is a lot more to offer in this set than initially seen. Alright, so all this, it looks like it was going to be one whole side, and you can see we've got these two Technic connectors that go into these pins from a while ago. And, oh, I'm supposed to have this at a little more of an angle there. There we go. And so now because of these little panels on this side, they're on both sides, when we kind of fold that down a little bit, there won't be a gap showing. It'll just be the brown from this panel. So that's a really cool little design. So it is, you know, both functional as like a Technic motorized model, but they also definitely have the aesthetics in here too. Does the current bag have the pieces for the battering ram arm? No, it does not look like it. It looks like we're just gonna get like a basic Gonk Droid out of this. See, now we're doing the other side of the gonk droid. It does seem like it's primarily more like just the same thing as before but mirrored, but it doesn't have that little bit of hazard striping. Otherwise, it's going to be pretty much just a mirror image of the first side. Honestly, with how few pieces are left, not sure how you're going to have a finished gonk droid on here. Alright, there's the other side. And I assume now we're working on the top. At some point, we gotta do the front and back too. Maybe that's what we're doing now. One of these is gonna be the front or back. No, this is the top. Definitely can see the gonk droid shape coming together though. He is still a little bit wobbly on the top, in addition to wobbly on the feet. Alright, that slides in to finish off the front and also now keeps it from moving side to side. I'm guessing this is going to be where the color sensor goes. Well, I'm not quite sure how we're going to be able to get that in there. And then our big beautiful teal tile. That's how we finish off the top quickly, and then the back will probably stay empty so you can add and remove the hub. Alright, pops on here. Okay, and that, now we're on to adding the hub. Got our motor. And we're using these red curve slopes as kind of wire guides here. There's our sensor. Plugs in on the side. Strap that wire down. Alright, now this whole thing just kind of slides in here. And the motor comes in and attaches in the back. We do have some more parts here to lock the hub in. Actually, in addition to locking the hub in, these little parts are actually going into the built-in motor on the hub. So that, I guess eventually this is going to be where you plug in the different attachments. We have still a few Technic pinholes to kind of work on that too, if needed. Alright, and that is it for the Gonk Droid. So this is just the basic Gonk Droid. I guess eventually as you play with the app, you get some add-ons. There's like a little open on the back there. You could probably tuck that wire in a little bit if you really wanted to get it out of the way, but I definitely am looking forward to making it walk a bit. Alright, I've finished the build for the Gonk Droid. Now complete the coding tutorial to learn the basic functions. Yeah, this is probably going to be about it before my phone dies. Alright, gotta turn it on. Connecting. Calibrate. Oh. It lives. Alright, we're going to move you back a little bit. Is that it? There he goes. Oh. Alright, kind of doing a similar tutorial to what we did with R2, where it kind of walks us through some of the different coding blocks. Move forward block, give him some space. Not sure how well you can see it, but the light sensor is on over there, so it kind of gives him like an eye. Alright, and now the distance sensor. So this is going to be when he detects something in front of him, he's going to move backwards. And once he gets out of range, hopefully he should stop. Oh no, he's moving for four steps, 4 seconds, for some unit. Alright. And then we get to use the clap sensor again. And looks like he makes noises too, so let's crank up the volume a little bit. a snap. I think it's using the, there we go, uses the microphone on your phone for that, so it's kind of a little anticlimactic, but it's got the gonk noise. Snapping doesn't work as well as clapping, but there we go. All right, so that looks to be about it for the basic stuff. So let's see what we can do for like a quick little program here. Curious to see what the turning left and right does. He looks like he's gonna fall over with every step he takes, but yeah, he does it. It's interesting that when, you know, using these kind of predefined little behaviors, the backward steps are much slower than the forward ones. It's like much more gentle about it. It's kind of interesting. This is the turning left right now. So it's kind of interesting is that it has to know how fast to move the motor based on which step it's in to do the right or left, because there's one motor controlling both of the feet, right? So it has to know, I guess, based on maybe the gyroscope that's in the hub, which way it's leaning. So it knows if it's like leaning one way, that means it's going to be moving. If it's like leaning this way, it knows it's going to be moving the left foot. And then if it's trying to turn in one direction, it should move the motor faster or slower for that certain amount of calibrated time to just move that foot. And it's going to move it slower when the weight is shifted, so it moves it a little bit less so it can kind of gradually turn as it walks. So it's very impressive. There's like definitely a lot of programming behind it for us to just be like pushing forward, backward, turn left, turn right. All right, so before with R2-D2, we kind of had that like kind of gamepad control with the programmable functions in it. So kind of curious to see if we get that same thing with the gonk droid here. Mission complete. I unlocked the gonk droid and the second of 4 spare parts. So that's cool. Gave me a new behavior, I guess. Alright, so now I get to do the remote controlled gonk. Yeah, the motor hub is in the gonk already. Yep, did all that. Oh, what are you doing there, bud? I'm not doing this. He's just kind of moving on his own. He's alive. Alright, so instead of like a full kind of control stick, I have backwards, forward and to the left, forward and to the right, and straight, and then some different behaviors. So we're going to start by moving him backwards a bit since he's getting out of frame. He backs up very slowly. Alright, so now forward and to the right. Or, yeah, it should be moving to the right, but he definitely looks like he's moving to the left. And it knows that, like, even if I let go, it's got to, like, finish its steps, so it kind of knows where it is from a calibration perspective. So it's kind of interesting, too. Let's go do some forward moving. All right, so I can go into the programming the blocks mode. And I feel like there's a lot more options here. So that's kind of cool. So there's some different behaviors, turning, and oh wow, this is giving me like actual control of the individual motors. So there's a lot more options I'm seeing now. I'm not sure if I just wasn't looking for those before, or if because I've played around with a little more, it's kind of unlocked some more functionality. But yeah, you can even control directly the A and B motors, which are the ones built into the hub. So like these little guys on the side here that aren't doing anything right now. So once you build some add-ons, whether they're from the instructions or your custom ones, you can kind of control those with this. So definitely a lot of cool features. I probably said I was going to do a giveaway a while ago. Probably should do one now. So we'll put that giveaway link up again. Just kind of got caught up in all the fun here. So we'll leave that giveaway link up for a little bit. We'll walk through this a little bit more. Go back into the remote control thing here a little. And I think we've got 2 more sets to give away, so we'll pick 2 winners when we do that in a minute or so. Alright, turn up the volume a little bit. We'll play around with some of these control blocks. So blue. Just got a couple of different sounds. What else we have for behaviors here? Yeah, unlike with R2-D2, right, where you could have him spin the head and stuff, there's not as much as you can do with the Gonk Droid, I guess, in his default configuration, but we did set it up so now he should be making noises when I hit the blue button here. Oh. No, is it not doing anything? I thought I set this up. Oh, okay. It's giving me a tutorial to do what I already did. Pretty sure the volume turned up. Alright, so it doesn't want to make the noises for some reason. Let's see if we can just play around with having him like move forward and then backwards. Try to have space to do that. So now I hit yellow, he should move forwards and then backwards. I just had an idea of a quick thing we can play around with maybe. Let's see. Alright, so playing around with the little A and B motors here. So you can control the direction and the speed and the time as well. Direction, speed, and time. And so I've got my little thing of spare parts sitting here. I've got some of the little shooter missiles. And since he's got these little Technic pieces on here, we can pop some of these in. Just so you can see how they're working here. My phone really wants to die. Alright, so let's see how this works now. Droid not connected. Droid turn off. There we go. Oh, it's waking up. Let's verify which one's, alright, should be the red and yellow. Oh, so you can't see it. There we go, so you can see that go now. Every time I hit the yellow button, it spins that motor that is built into the boost hub. And so you can program that to turn for however long, what direction, and what speed you want. So that's kind of a cool little feature there. So it definitely adds a lot of different capabilities. And my phone really wants to die. Oh. So we're going to, I guess, wrap things up for today. All right. So there we go, guys. Pop those out, doesn't look so silly. All right, so we built ourselves R2-D2 and the Gonk Droid. I guess we'll pick our winners first before we wrap things up. All right. So we got 2 more winners to do. I meant to do one earlier, so we're making up for it by doing 2 now. So to Jackson, congrats, you've won a Sergeant Jyn Erso unbuildable figure. I'm sure you know the drill, and we'll be getting that on its way over to you. And our second winner, Makuta Laroka, congrats, you've also won a Sergeant Jyn Erso. And I've got some other stuff I have to send to you as well. So we'll make sure we get that out, hopefully in the coming week or 2. All right, so kind of final thoughts so far. I guess it's not the final thoughts because there's still a lot more to do in the app, and still another droid that we haven't built today. But as far as the builds go, right, I think R2-D2 definitely looks like R2. He's a little weird without the hub in him, but definitely still a good display piece. Maybe a little too small to kind of display next to the buildable BB-8, but still cool nonetheless. And you know, his head can spin around, and you can kind of move back and forth. He looks a bit empty from the back, but from a building perspective, it was a lot of fun. It was a little bit of a pain to get the wires in the move hub there. Gonk Droid looks pretty great. Again, like from the back, you can see the hub and the motor sticking out. So they definitely, you know, are designing this to be modular, so you can easily pop out the hub. Like to pop out this hub, I just need to pop this guy out and that guy out, disconnect the motor, and then boom, like that. That's it. And then I have a Gonk Droid shell. So again, he kind of looks a little empty from the back, but that's kind of by design. I love the mechanism to make him walk. That was really cool. I would say overall, not a huge fan of the digital instructions. You know, it took us a little under 3 hours to do both of these guys, and you know, between the instructions and connecting and stuff, it just kind of totally killed my phone's battery. So it would be nice if this had included printed instructions and the digital where it was an option. It definitely came in handy a couple times with some of like the Technic connection stuff to make sure that you had like things aligned properly. So that was kind of handy. But overall, I would say I would still rather have the printed instructions and then just use the phone app to you know, do the programming and the missions and stuff like that. There's definitely a lot more to the app than we got to check out today. It definitely looks like a lot of fun. Potentially something that is worth exploring more in the future. So hopefully we can do some more streams to build the Mouse Droid and then play around with the app a little more moving forward. So yeah, definitely a really interesting concept. You know, set retails for $200, but it only has 1,177 parts. But you know, 3 of those parts are the move hub, the motor, and the sensor here. So those are obviously going to add a lot of cost to it, which you know makes complete sense. And there's definitely a lot of fun to be had with it. You know, I can see for a kid trying to get them into, you know, STEAM and STEM kind of activities, that this could really be a good learning resource for that, and a real way to encourage them, because it definitely looks like they've gamified the app. So there's like achievements and different things you unlock and collectibles and that kind of stuff, which seems like it would be a lot of fun and definitely makes me want to play around with it more, even as an adult. I still like video games. So yeah, I think that's a good start for this set. Hopefully we'll be coming back to it a little bit more in the future. We'll just have to wait and see. So thanks for watching, guys. Congratulations to our winners today and our giveaways, and we'll be getting in touch with you to get you those prizes, and we'll see. We should be back sometime in the future. Not sure if it's going to be next week or in a couple weeks, but keep tuned to our social media channels and to bzpower.info, where we will be announcing our upcoming streams. So thanks again for watching, guys, and take care. Have a great rest of your weekend. Bye.